She was just a maid. Gray dress, white apron, quiet footsteps, invisible inside one of Seoul's most expensive penthouses. Everyone ignored Ava Collins, except one person, 71-year-old Evelyn Brooks, the billionaire's grandmother, the woman in the wheelchair whose silver hair Ava braided every Sunday morning, the woman whose favorite meal was jollof rice every Tuesday night, the woman who always whispered, "You remind me of the daughter I lost." Ava protected her, fed her, helped her breathe through painful nights. And in return, Evelyn became the only person who truly saw Ava. But one night, Ava opened a bedroom door and froze. Evelyn's glasses were shattered on the marble floor. There was a red handprint on her face. And standing over her wheelchair, Nathaniel Brooks' fiancée, Bianca Loron, smiling, cold, dangerous. But wait, that wasn't even the worst part. Because Bianca had just done something far more terrifying. Something that could kill Evelyn before morning. And when Ava found out, she didn't call security. She attacked. And what happened after that fight destroyed one family forever. Subscribe if you believe kindness always returns. This shocking soul revenge thriller has an ending you'll never forget. Ava Collins had mastered the art of being unnoticed. In wealthy homes, that was survival. Speak when spoken to. Keep your eyes down. Never ask questions. And never become part of rich people's problems. That last rule kept her alive for years. At 28, Ava worked as a private maid inside the Brooks family penthouse overlooking the Han River in Seoul. The penthouse was larger than the apartment complex where Ava grew up. Everything inside screamed money. Crystal chandeliers, Italian marble floors, paintings worth millions, private chefs, security guards, luxury cars line outside. But despite all that wealth, the house felt cold, empty, like no one inside truly loved one another. Nathaniel Brooks was the reason, 34 years old, CEO of Brooks Global Holdings. Cold, calculated, feared in Seoul's business world. People called him ruthless. They weren't wrong. Ava rarely saw him smile. When he entered a room, conversations died. Staff became nervous. Even executives feared disappointing him. And then there was Bianca Loron, Nathaniel's fiancée. Beautiful, elegant, manipulative. Bianca knew how to act sweet when Nathaniel was around. But behind closed doors, she was cruel, especially toward staff. She once fired a housekeeper because coffee arrived 2 minutes late. She screamed at drivers, humiliated cooks, and insulted Ava whenever she could. Maid, fix this. Maid, clean that. Maid, don't speak unless I ask you to. Ava tolerated all of it. She needed money. Her younger brother's medical bills back in Nigeria depended on her job, so she stayed quiet. Always. But Evelyn Brooks changed everything. Nathaniel's grandmother was the exact opposite of everyone else in the house. Warm, funny, wise, and deeply lonely. After suffering a stroke 2 years earlier, she became wheelchair-bound. Nathaniel handled her medical expenses, but he rarely spent time with her. Business always came first. Bianca hated caring for her, and Evelyn noticed. That's why she grew close to Ava. Every morning, Ava helped her get dressed. Every afternoon, they drank tea by the balcony. Every Tuesday, Ava cooked Nigerian jollof rice for her. Evelyn loved it. "This food has soul," she'd say, then laugh. One evening, Evelyn looked unusually serious. Rain tapped against the glass windows. Ava was brushing her hair. Evelyn suddenly spoke. "Do you know why Bianca hates me?" Ava hesitated. "No, ma'am." Evelyn smiled sadly. "Because I told Nathaniel not to marry her." Ava stopped brushing. Evelyn continued. "That woman doesn't love him. She loves what his last name can buy." Ava stayed silent. Then Evelyn leaned closer. "And I think she's hiding something dangerous." Ava felt uneasy. "What do you mean?" Evelyn looked toward the door first, then whispered, "I saw Bianca putting something inside my medication." Ava froze. "Are you sure?" "Very." Ava's heart pounded. "Did you tell Nathaniel?" Evelyn laughed bitterly. "He thinks Bianca is perfect." Then her smile disappeared. And if something happens to me, she grabbed Ava's hand tightly. Do not trust anyone in this house. Ava felt chills run through her body. Ma'am, promise me. Ava nodded slowly. I promise. But she didn't know that promise would soon destroy her peaceful life. The next morning, Bianca was unusually kind. Too kind. She smiled at staff, complimented workers, even offered Evelyn tea herself. That terrified Ava more than Bianca's insults ever had, because evil often looked calm before it attacked. Later that night, Ava received a phone call, an unknown number. She ignored it. Then it rang again, and again, and again. She became irritated. I'll call back later, she muttered. That decision would change everything, because minutes later, a scream echoed through the penthouse, and Ava dropped everything she was holding. Something terrible had happened, and this was only the beginning. The tray shattered first. That was the sound Ava heard before the scream fully reached her. Glass exploded across the kitchen floor. One of the younger maids gasped. Then came Evelyn's voice, weak, terrified, and suddenly cut short. Ava ran, fast. Her heart slammed against her chest as she sprinted to the long hallway of the Brooks penthouse. Something felt wrong, very wrong. The unknown number called again. Her phone vibrated in her pocket, but she ignored it. Right now, Evelyn mattered more. When Ava reached Evelyn's private wing, the door was locked from the inside. Ava began banging on it. Madam Evelyn. No response. She banged harder. Open the door. Silence. Then she heard Bianca's voice. Calm, almost amused. Everything is fine. Ava froze. No, everything was not fine. Ava heard something fall inside. Then Evelyn cried out again. That was enough. Ava stepped back, then kicked the door with all her strength. Once, twice. On the third kick, the lock broke. The door flew open, and Ava froze. Evelyn sat trembling in her wheelchair. Her glasses were broken on the floor. Blood rested near her lip. A red handprint burned across her face. And standing beside her, Bianca Loran, holding a small medicine bottle, smiling like nothing happened. For a few seconds, nobody moved. Then Bianca laughed softly. You just destroyed a very expensive door. Ava looked at Evelyn. Tears rolled down the old woman's face. That was all Ava needed. She crossed the room. Fast. Bianca barely reacted before Ava grabbed her wrist. The medicine bottle dropped. Pills scattered everywhere. Bianca screamed, How dare you touch me? Ava shoved her backward. How dare you touch her? Bianca slapped Ava. Hard, but she made one mistake. She forgot Ava wasn't weak. Before becoming a maid, Ava fought professionally in underground boxing matches in Lagos to survive after her parents died. She hated that part of her life, buried it, ran from it. But pain remembers, and so do fists. Bianca swung again. Ava dodged, then punched her. Bianca crashed into a glass table. It shattered instantly. Security guards rushed in. House staff screamed. Bianca cried dramatically. She attacked me. Nathaniel arrived seconds later, and everything got worse. He looked at Bianca bleeding on the floor, then at Ava standing over her, then at his crying grandmother. But instead of asking questions, he made a terrible mistake. Arrest Ava. Ava's entire world stopped. What? Security grabbed her arms. Evelyn screamed. No. Nathaniel ignored her. Bianca began fake crying. She attacked me for no reason. Nathaniel's face turned cold. You assaulted my fiancée. Ava stared at him in disbelief. She hit your grandmother. She's lying. Bianca screamed. Nathaniel looked furious. Take Ava away. And just like that, the woman protecting his grandmother became the villain. As security dragged Ava away, Evelyn screamed something that changed everything. She poisoned me. The entire room went silent. Nathaniel turned slowly. Bianca's face lost color, and Ava realized this nightmare was only beginning. The room became completely silent. Even security stopped moving. Nathaniel slowly turned toward his grandmother. What did you say? Evelyn struggled to breathe. Her hands shook violently. She's been poisoning me. Bianca laughed nervously. This is ridiculous. But nobody was laughing. Nathaniel walked toward Evelyn. What do you mean? Evelyn pointed at the pills scattered on the floor. She changed my medication. Nathaniel looked at Bianca. For the first time, he looked uncertain. Bianca quickly regained control. She's confused. She's old. She barely remembers things. That statement broke Evelyn's heart. You could see it. Years of pain sat in her eyes. Nathaniel picked up on the pills, then called the family doctor immediately. Come now. Bianca panicked internally, but hid it well. Ava noticed, and that scared her, because guilty people panic differently. The doctor arrived 30 minutes later. Everyone waited in silence. Bianca kept pretending to cry. Nathaniel remained cold. Ava sat restrained in another room with security guards nearby. Then the doctor returned, and his face looked pale. These pills. He paused, then looked directly at Nathaniel. They are not her prescribed medication. Nathaniel's jaw tightened. What are they? The doctor hesitated, then said the words that changed everything. Slow-acting toxins. Evelyn began crying. Nathaniel looked like his soul left his body. Bianca screamed. That's impossible. But the doctor wasn't finished. She has been taking these for weeks. Nathaniel turned toward Bianca. Slowly, dangerously. Explain. Bianca stepped backward. I can explain. Nathaniel moved closer. Explain. Bianca started crying harder. She deserved it. Everyone froze. Even Ava. Bianca snapped. She ruined everything. She kept telling you not to marry me. She treated me like trash. She wanted me gone. Evelyn stared at her in horror. So you tried to kill me? Bianca screamed. I only wanted you out of the way. Nathaniel looked broken, then furious, then dangerous. But wait, that wasn't the worst part. A private investigator suddenly entered the penthouse and looked directly at Nathaniel. Sir, Nathaniel frowned. What now? The investigator handed him a file. You need to see this immediately. Nathaniel opened it, and his face turned deadly silent. Bianca looked terrified. What is that? Nathaniel whispered. You've been having an affair. Bianca stopped breathing. The investigator spoke again. And helping her lover steal company funds. Ava stared in shock. Evelyn gasped. Nathaniel slowly lifted his eyes toward Bianca. And everyone in the room knew something far worse was about to happen. Bianca's entire body went weak. No. Her voice cracked. That's not true. Nathaniel slowly flipped through the file. Hotel receipts, private messages, bank transfers, photos, too many photos. Bianca and another man, holding hands, kissing, meeting secretly in luxury hotels. And the worst part? The man was one of Nathaniel's top executives. Someone he trusted. Someone who helped manage millions of dollars inside Brooks Global. Nathaniel looked like he might explode, but somehow he stayed calm, and that scared everyone more. He walked toward Bianca, slowly, too slowly. Bianca kept stepping backward. Nathaniel, listen to me. He said nothing. Nathaniel, I can explain. Slap. The sound echoed through the penthouse. Bianca collapsed to the floor. Everyone gasped. Nathaniel had never publicly lost control before. Ever. He looked down at her like she was nothing. You tried to kill my grandmother. He crouched lower. You stole from me. He leaned closer. You cheated on me. Bianca began shaking. Then suddenly, she ran, straight toward the elevator. Security moved, but Bianca was faster. She grabbed a decorative vase and smashed it at a guard. He fell. She entered the private elevator. Doors closing. Nathaniel shouted, Stop her. Too late. The elevator doors shut. Bianca escaped. But wait, that wasn't the worst part. When Nathaniel turned around, Evelyn collapsed. Her breathing stopped. The poison had done more damage than anyone realized. Doctors rushed in. Ava screamed. Nathaniel looked terrified for the first time in his life, and as doctors pushed Evelyn away, she grabbed Ava's hand weakly and whispered something no one else heard. Second drawer? Ava froze. What? Evelyn struggled. My room. Second drawer? Then she lost consciousness. Doctors rushed her away. Nathaniel followed, but Ava stayed behind because something told her Evelyn was trying to protect her. She ran to Evelyn's room, opened the second drawer, and found a sealed envelope. Her hands trembled. She opened it. Then her entire world stopped. Inside was a birth certificate and a photo. The photo showed a younger Evelyn holding a baby. That baby was Ava. Ava nearly collapsed. No! Then she saw the name listed under mother, her late mother, a woman Ava thought abandoned her years ago. And beneath the document was a handwritten letter. Ava opened it with trembling hands. If you're reading this, Bianca has gone too far. Your mother was my daughter. You are my granddaughter. You were stolen from this family after betrayal I could never stop. I spent years searching for you. When I saw you walk into this house as a maid, I recognized your mother's eyes immediately. I want to tell you sooner. Forgive me. Protect yourself. And never let evil win again. Love, Grandma Evelyn. Ava broke down completely. She had come to this house as a maid, but she was actually part of the Brooks family. And Bianca had nearly destroyed all of them. But what happened next? No one was prepared for. Bianca Loron had disappeared. Private jets were alerted. Police got involved. Her lover was arrested. Millions in stolen company funds were frozen. But Bianca? Gone. 3 days passed. Evelyn remained unconscious. Nathaniel barely slept. And Ava was drowning in emotional pain. She had spent years believing she had no family. Now she discovered she belonged to one of Seoul's richest families. And she didn't know how to feel. Nathaniel found her sitting alone in the hospital chapel. He looked exhausted. I was wrong. Ava remained silent. I should have listened. Still silence. He swallowed hard. I failed both of you. Ava finally spoke. You chose appearances over truth. That hit him hard, because it was true. Then his phone rang. His face changed instantly. What? He stood up. Where? Ava rose. What happened? Nathaniel looked at her. We found Bianca. She had been hiding in an abandoned private resort outside Seoul, waiting for fake documents, planning to flee the country. Nathaniel and police rushed there. Ava followed. Rain poured heavily. Thunder crashed. Police surrounded the resort. Then a scream echoed inside. Ava froze. That voice. Evelyn. What? Nathaniel looked horrified. Bianca had kidnapped Evelyn from the hospital. She woke up and was taken during a power outage. Inside the resort, Bianca held Evelyn at knife point, completely unstable, completely broken. You ruined everything. She screamed at everyone. Nathaniel stepped forward. Let her go. Bianca laughed hysterically. You don't deserve her. Ava moved closer. Bianca noticed. Her eyes burned with hatred. You should have stayed a maid. That was Bianca's final mistake. She lunged at Evelyn. Ava moved instantly. Years of boxing training returned. One punch. Bianca staggered. Second strike. Knife dropped. Third hit. Bianca crashed through a glass railing. She screamed as she fell into the empty pool below. Silence. Complete silence. Rain kept falling. Ava stared down. Bianca was alive, but badly injured. Police arrested her immediately. And in that moment, everything changed forever. Rain kept falling. Police lights flashed across the empty resort walls. Bianca screamed from the bottom of the drained pool as officers handcuffed her. Her expensive white dress was covered in blood and dust. Her perfect image was gone. And for the first time, no one cared. Ava rushed toward Evelyn. The old woman was shaking badly. Nathaniel helped remove the ropes tied around her hands. Grandma? His voice broke. I'm sorry. Evelyn looked at him with tired eyes. For a moment, she said nothing. That silence hurt Nathaniel more than Bianca's betrayal ever could. Then Evelyn touched his face. You finally opened your eyes. Nathaniel broke down. The cold billionaire everyone feared was suddenly just a grandson crying in the rain. I failed you. Evelyn looked at Ava, then smiled weakly. No, she whispered. She saved me. Nathaniel turned toward Ava, and guilt swallowed him whole. This was the woman he had ordered security to arrest, the woman he called a liar, the woman who protected his family when he failed. And now, she was family, literally. Days later, the media exploded. News channels across Seoul covered Bianca's arrest, attempted murder, fraud, kidnapping, corporate theft. Her secret lover exposed everything in exchange for a reduced sentence. Bianca's entire empire collapsed overnight. Her family publicly disowned her. Luxury brands removed her endorsements. Friends disappeared. And eventually, she was sentenced to prison. But strangely, that didn't bring Ava peace, because revenge had happened. Yet her heart still felt heavy. She kept thinking about her mother. Why was she taken away? Why did her mother disappear? What really happened? Evelyn finally told her everything. Years ago, Evelyn's daughter fell in love with a Nigerian exchange student studying in Seoul. Their relationship created scandal inside the wealthy Brooks family. Powerful relatives hated the relationship. When Ava was born, those relatives arranged for the baby to be secretly taken away after her parents died in a suspicious accident. Ava was sent into foster care overseas. Evelyn spent years searching, but failed until fate brought Ava back. As a maid, in her own family home, Ava cried for hours after hearing the truth, not because of wealth, not because she was secretly rich, but because she finally understood why she always felt incomplete. She was stolen from love, and now she had found it again. But Nathaniel still carried guilt. One evening, he found Ava packing her bags. "You're leaving?" Ava nodded. "My work here is done." Nathaniel looked devastated. "Your family." Ava gave a small smile. "I know." "Then stay." She shook her head. "I need time." Nathaniel lowered his voice. "I treated you terribly." "Yes." "I judged you." "Yes." "I was blind." "Yes." He almost smiled through his pain. "Will you ever forgive me?" Ava stared at him quietly, then said something he never forgot. "Forgiveness is not pretending pain never happened. It's choosing not to become pain." Nathaniel began crying again. Ava hugged him, and for the first time, they truly felt like family. Months later, Ava opened a rehabilitation center in Seoul, a safe home for abused domestic workers. Funded by Evelyn, supported by Nathaniel, women from different countries found safety there. Healing began, and Ava finally used her pain for purpose. One afternoon, she received a prison letter. From Bianca. Ava almost threw it away, but she opened it. Inside were only 3 words. "I am sorry." Ava stared at the letter for a long time, then quietly burned it, not out of hatred, but closure. Some apologies arrived too late. Evelyn eventually recovered. Though slower, she spent most afternoons teaching Ava family traditions. Cooking, stories, laughter, healing, and peace returned to the Brooks family. Not because they were rich, but because they finally chose truth over pride. And years later, when people asked Ava how she survived everything, she always smiled and said, "Kindness is not weakness, and family is not always blood. Sometimes family is the people who fight to protect you. Sometimes the quietest person in the room is carrying the loudest strength, and sometimes kindness always returns." What would you have done if you were Ava? Soul Heart Stories. Stay dangerous. Stay loved.